you track analysis.
And Kimi Räikkönen, the fastest point of the track here, about 190 miles an hour as he brakes for turn one over the curbs on that right-left complex. This is a very daunting, scary circuit. It's very green. It's only used once a year, so there's no rubber down there to help these guys. As they come into the next right-left complex, you've got to be very careful that the driver doesn't go off on the right here. There's a big bump that'll take the bottom off the car. The driver at all times working out how he's going to get around people. Look at this, down to these trees, the light changing there. A very flickering stroboscopic effect, so that's going to get worse as the afternoon goes on and the shadows get longer. As you can see, weaving his way through these walls, very difficult to get. Don't forget, he hasn't got the view we've got. This camera is a foot over his head, so he's got much less view than we've got. And still you can see no runoff area. They've got these white lines to contend with. What's he going to do about those when you put your brakes on hard on those, especially when they're wet like they were Friday? Very tricky. As you can see too, he's working all the time. The car moving right, left on the brakes. A lot of acceleration, very tough on the brakes this circuit. And of course the driver has to be thinking about that all the time. And of course working out all the time, where am I going to get by something? Look at that bit of runoff on the left there. Quite a change for here. This is a very fast right-hand complex here. A little bit of runoff, but not much. We saw a lot of people going off there. This is the last but one corner. Looks like you might do some overtaking there, but not so. You've got to get really well set up for this corner because you really want to launch off this last turn, because going to turn one up ahead there is really your...
Basically, you just try to get as good exit as you can from the last corner, because you're gonna otherwise lose some time already on the first lap or the first straight, and then just make sure that you don't do silly mistake in the first corner. You just try to make sure that you're in a good position to have a free lap all the way, and not have any people in front of you, because it's gonna cost you a lot otherwise. It's quite difficult circuit to get the good lap in Nürburgring. It's many different sort of corners and a lot of camber changes, so need to have a good setup on a car to be able to get the good lap out, and it's quite challenging. I think so. You always can improve if you have a second chance, but it was good enough for pole position, so little bit few places I think so I could have improved, but it was enough, so that's the main thing.
Pole position lap with Kimi Räikkönen in the Ferrari. The new extended pit lane up to 150 miles an hour. Braking heavily for last horse hairpin. Plenty of space for them to tangle now in the first corner and live for another day. Down the hill towards the legendary 190 miles an hour at the bottom of the hill. 5G in compression, 4G in lateral forces. You pop out over the top in Räikkönen and you're still accelerating. Climbing gently uphill too. 210 miles an hour. Räikkönen chicane ahead of us. Brake 100 metres before the corner. Bring it down to 90 miles an hour. Flick right, flick left. Get ready for Malmedy. Another 100 mile an hour corner that just tightens slightly through the exit. The car accelerates down to Rivage. Just keep it inside as long as you possibly can. Pick up the throttle as soon as you can. Now you're just streaming down the hill. 150 miles an hour in the middle of this straight. 180 before you sight the turn into Pouon. Incredible speed on the way in, just correcting the Ferrari mid-corner. Now plenty of space to let it accelerate. 180 miles an hour before the Fagnes chicane. 90 through here. Look at the way the car just changes direction. It's so stable and settled. Flick left for the first part of Stavolo. 5 through the apex, running very wide on the curb. Stavolo 2, easily full throttle. You're now into another 20-second top gear, flat out towards the Blanchimont corner initially. Just watch this as he squeezes the steering wheel, just eases the car into the apex. It's done and dusted. We're on our way to the stop chicane. 200 miles an hour, braking 90 metres before, climbing all over the curves. Traction control won't let the car accelerate, otherwise the rear would just slide and spin. Now we're on our way. Start-finish line comes up early. Räikkönen on pole. Astride the airbox of the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen on the pole position lap. Casually, full throttle for 16 seconds down the pit straight. He's tweaking the brake balance with his right hand. He brakes just 70 metres before the corner from 190 miles an hour down to third gear. Turn 2, full throttle in fourth. Up the hill to 3, quite a big lift. The nose wanders to the outside of the racetrack. Up to 170 miles an hour in this short straight. Heavy braking for 4, bring it in early. It's quite bumpy there. Then let it just wander to the outside again for best traction. Flick right for the downhill braking zone of turn 5. You must connect to the apex. Pick up the throttle and then squeeze it nicely. 6 is a full throttle left curve. We're in that already. Here's 7 and 8 at the foot of the hill. Mind the high curbs. Mind the AstroTurf on the outside. Up to 150 miles an hour for the blind Cancer corner. A little bit of understeer. The front just sliding wide, but it gives you confidence. You know what the car is going to do next. 185 miles an hour down to just 60. Formula 1 car feels quite clumsy in these corners sometimes. Flick left of turn 11. The bumpy right-hander of 12. The car just won't come into the curb. He picks up the throttle instead. 13 is slightly unsighted just here. Fall down the hill for a tricky chicane. Take some curb, but not those red mounds of concrete. They make the car fly too much. The final corner, absolutely full throttle, just accelerating into this pit straight. Räikkönen casually over the line for his 15th pole position and immediately into fuel-saving mode.
Kimi, you are on pole.
Thank you.